What we need's a full album. Jeez, this is one track. Oh, still let it finish up, man. Oh man. And we'll transition into something equally as sick. How about that? What up, Bean? How you going? Oh, come on now. No? My drive's spinning up. There you go. Alright, who knows it? That's the question. Chris, Chris, I got your email. I haven't replied. Or your DM? It's something. I don't know what it is. I got your, whatever it was. I think an email. Was it an email? It's an email. Here we go. And yeah, it's fine. I'll get back to you. It's fine. It's fine. We actually had a cancellation like yesterday, which is unfortunate considering what the wait list looks like. It's like 3 months to wait and then to cancel last minute. It's kind of not wonderful, but oh well. Oh well. What are you gonna do? So, that said, we got Roman today. That's it. Roman, and I mean, I have like the game audio, like r/game audio. I know occasionally we'll do like a kind of impromptu look at the personal works evaluation / critique requests threads. But I mean, r/game audio is like a freaking ghost town, man. And I wonder why. Terrible moderation, just abysmal. We're beginning this stream with some hot takes, just so y'all know. Anyway, yeah, Chris, good to see you. Reverb in the void. Hi, all. Sounds like John. Hello, everyone. And there's Roman. There he is. Good to see you. Matt Galt. Good to see you. Macro Burla. That's a new name. Macro Burla. Well, welcome on in. I hope you enjoy the game audio talks. Tom Bennett, Selfish Ego. Steve Bass from Europe. This noon PST time is helping you out then. I'm good to go. Yeah, are you gonna stay up and watch the Game Awards tonight in Europe? All yo European folks. It's a pre-show at what, 4:30? I think PST? Or something? 6:30? Or sorry, 7:30 Eastern? Beer time over here, there you go. Yeah, like what? What time is it? Like 2 AM or something? It's brutal time to watch it. No, the show is like hours long too. I don't know how long it's going to be this year, but I was there in person when Celeste won for Best Indie, and it was like, it was a slog. Like, it is so long. It's like watching Braveheart in the theater. It's rough. Anyways, tunes, anyone? Tunes? No one? Strangely, I was whistling this prior to the stream, and my wife texted me and said the game name instead of why. I have no idea why she knows what it is. I didn't have time to ask for clarification, so who knows, but yeah, I'm just gonna shame all of you in the game space. She does not play games at all, and she knows it, so. It is, of course, Bomberman64. Of course. Of course. What else? Chris Sounds Rad, good to see you. Welcome on in. So, Roman, let's take a look at your work here. For anyone rolling in for the first time, perhaps Macro Burla being one of them. This is Real Talk. We're having a look at some game audio demo materials from some up-and-comers, mainly Roman today. Usually it's 2 people. But like I said, late cancellation, so oh well. And we're having a look at this from a few different angles. We're having a look at this from presentation and material selection and content quality and distinction. These are kind of some bullet points that myself and Matthieu Martinson from Clay Entertainment here in Vancouver thought of a long time ago as far as kind of the general gist of what we're looking for. We didn't really think of it from that angle before we began doing Real Talk in 2016, but figured it was worth having some way to stay on the rails during this conversation. So we'll march through those points, talk about presentation from the angle of what is on the website and general navigation stuff, general taste and branding stuff, and then for the reel, we'll look at it for length and flow and bookending and contact info and titling and transitions and all that stuff. Kind of everything besides the works themselves and the work, the sound design work. And for material selection, we're looking at the work that appears in the portfolio and in the demo reel itself and what those pieces may suggest to someone coming in blind about this person's background, history, and work in games and their you know, their current skill sets and their future ambitions. And oh, let's go. Same one again, eh? Is it on shuffle? It's a good track. There's more tracks on the list. It's just back to Green Garden again. It's too funky. Too good. Very nice. Next is content quality. Is it good? If it's got room to improve, I will let you know, Roman. And distinction. Are you standing out in some positive way? Is there a lot of folks vying for attention, working to get those gigs, those job postings? And there's, when I say a lot, I mean in the hundreds easily for a AAA position. So it's pretty damn important to stand out in some positive way. Even if that means you aren't immediately hireable, it could be a standout and you just make a better impression next time around and get your foot in the door, right? So, yeah, Roman and I met at, what, Games SoundCon 20... Jeez, I don't know, Roman. Like, 16? When was I there? Games SoundCon. Kevin Regami. When did I speak at Game... Yeah, 2016. There you go. There it is. I think I spoke in the same year that I saw you there. Fmod flew me down and did some, I did some various studio talks. Maybe 17 then? I don't know. It was the year, oh, I wish I had this photo on hand. I don't have it, but, Games SoundCon is held, or was held at least, in the Millennium Hotel in LA, and the Millennium Hotel is apparently like haunted. Like it's known for being haunted. And let me find some images of this hotel for you. This is what the hallways though. The hallways are brutal. It's all the ballrooms. These are all photos that like make it look good. We're the ones that make it look scary. It is frightening. I can't find any at all. But it basically looks like the hotel from The Shining. You know, like like this whole thing. It's all red floor, mind you. It's like red floor and like beige walls, kind of like off-white yellow walls. Brutal. But basically, when I got my room there, the first time I'd stayed there, you know, you leave the elevator, you walk to your hotel, and you follow the signs saying like these numbers that way, those numbers that way, etc. And I took like so many turns, and my room was like the farthest room from the elevator possible. And I saw no one on the way there, not a big deal. But I opened it up, and the room was just like kind of weird, like all around. There was like the Do Not Disturb sign was like on the floor in the middle of the room, and the mirror in the bathroom was like kind of cracked, like one big crack across the whole thing. And there was like a few spots in the ceiling, and the bed had like a visible human groove in it, and the clock radio was like the wrong time, and on the screen of the TV it was like, "Good morning, Mr. Regami," and it was like 7 p.m. or something. It's like there's like this laundry list of weird details walking in this hotel room. And then, so I'm like, whatever, no big deal. I sleep. In the morning, I wake up pretty early, get ready for the day. I walk out of there, and I'm going down to like the main, the main lobby area for the talks and stuff. And as I'm walking through the hallway, every hotel room door is open, and they're all being torn apart. So the carpet's being ripped up. There's like one of the rooms had like a big pile of bed frames. There was like furniture in the hallway, like disassembled and stacked, like just kind of haphazardly. And my room is like the only one that is not torn apart, right? And it's the last room. So I'm walking by every room to get back to the elevator. And then I get to the elevator and realize I left my wallet in the room. So I was like, I'll go grab that again. So I walk back. And I should say also, I don't see any workers. Like, no one's doing the work. It just, the work has been done already. And it's like 7 a.m. So I don't know when this work was done. It's crazy. And I got back to my room, and the very last room before my room, there was a worker, actually. There's like this random guy. And I kind of said jokingly, I was like, hey man, should I be concerned that like my room is the only one on this floor that's not being torn to shreds? And he turns to me and he goes, there's ghosts. And he walks away. It's like this is, I am not kidding. This is what happened literally. And if I have pictures, I have photos. I'll try and find. I'll put them on like my Twitter or something later on. But it was that was that. And then yeah, like I got back in the evening. Like more weird stuff happened in the room. Like the time was again like a different wrong time on the clock radio, and the TV was like good afternoon. It's like 2 in the morning. It's like super weird. So I ended up going to the front desk, and I was like, listen, I've worked in the service industry. I've worked with tons of people. I don't like to complain because I know the job isn't easy and people are jerks. So I just like, I'm very tolerant. I said, but I'm on the 5th floor. And the guy was like, oh yeah, you're Mr. Regami, right? Like I was like the only person on the floor, because I guess they just didn't have a free room. So they'd like put me on the renovation floor. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, it's not a huge deal, but it's honestly just like super creepy. I'm just getting a little bit freaked out. And like the room is, I mean, besides the point that the floor is being renovated and torn apart because it's deemed to be unfit for guests. And meanwhile, I'm on the floor, right? So he's like, okay, I'll get you fitted out, no worries. So I got like upgraded to like the best suite in the place as a massive apology. So I got a nice big room, king size bed. It was wonderful. So yeah, my opinion of the Money in Biltmore Hotel is it remains positive, but for a while it was very, very strange. And imagine again, I'm looking at this hallway, red carpet, off-white yellow walls, like long hallway. It's The Shining, basically. And then the next morning, it's the same hallway full of stuff. It's very odd. I can see it in my brain right now. Very vivid memory. Anyways, enough of story time. Let's carry on. I want to mention really quick here, Luckhash and Shirabon. I put the link in the chat. This track is fantastic. Both artists. I don't know if they've done a collab before this. I don't know if they have. They may have, but I don't know of it. But I've followed both of these artists for quite some time. I played them on Real Talk before. They're super, super good. So big recommend to check them out either individually or this track by itself. The collab is excellent. I'm gonna move this over here for now. Okay. So, Roman, we'll take a look through yours. I mean, we have done streams in the past where it's been just one person and not two, and we find plenty to talk about usually, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Worst case was end a bit early with the cancellation that happened, or we'll just like like I said, we'll browse r/game audio, or even if folks in the chat want to just like throw their demo reel, we can have a quick look, kind of a little show and tell stream to end off the year, as this is the last stream of the current calendar year until I don't know what the next stream is. It's like January something, January 6th or whatever the Thursday is. But there you go. Okay. Hey, Frequencies Presley. Good to see you. Thank you again for secret favors. Thanks so much for helping me out at a distance. Appreciate that. Juju, good to see you as well. Tuba Hero rolled in. I see Dawn Laundry, very Raw Fury-esque font. Is that true? What's the Raw Fury logo look like? We got Raw Fury. I mean, I don't guess. I guess the R, hey? Yeah, I like the Y coming in. It's kind of like the R. Yeah, a little bit. I see it. I see it. Polygonal letters. All right. Official. Oh, Wayne. Wayne rolling in too. Good to see you. Okay, so let's have a look at romanperry.rocks / game audio. So is the main page different? This looks identical. Is it actually, though? Is this games? You got that versus... Might be the same. Who knows? Okay, it's the same. Okay. I think you gave me the link, like / game audio a long time ago, and now it's maybe shifted, but yeah. Okay, so we have main page, Twitter, LinkedIn, email is, resume here. Oh, I was going to mention too, Roman, I met Roman at Game SoundCon, and at the time at least, he was pretty heavily focused in the music side of things, perhaps. But if I search like Roman Perry SoundCloud, I'll probably find it immediately, right? Roman Perry SoundCloud, stream, Roman Perry music. And yeah, so we got Motivate 8 months ago, and before that 4 years, 5 years. Yeah, I actually played some of this stuff for, well, for fun. It's awesome. it's like it's good. I was just playing this for my wife before the stream. Actually, I'm playing it right now. This is excellent. So fun. We might get DMCA'd here. It may happen. I should be careful. Wonderful. Yeah, so I knew Roman from this back in the day, but I understand there's a push for the sound design side of things as of late. So that's what we're doing today. There you go. Let's have a glance across here. About me. In the year 1991 of the Common Era, a being that would eventually become known as Roman Dominic Perry was spawned, blessed with a pair of hypersensitive ears, asterisk, and a demonic talent for advanced audiomancy. He has only one pursuit: the creation of synthesized realities through the means of game sound design. Very, very cheesy. I'm not entirely against it yet because it's short and like kind of well written. My immediate expectation, without reading further, is that this is going to be like the straight man and be very professional. It has the red background, and that would be my recommendation. So we'll see how we go here. It's always slightly dangerous to be jokey with your professional stuff, but we'll see how it goes. ArcSpace, good to see you. Yeah, this is 91's not the oldest or youngest. It's not too bad. Okay, as a self-proclaimed audio warlock, okay, so we're already starting off kind of jokey. Also, it's a link. Explain. What the? Okay. I've deeply explored nearly everything the medium has to offer. I ran sound for my high school theater troupe. I did sound design for short films in college. I've produced many different genres of music. I hosted a music industry podcast. Currently, I design sound effects for video games, and I teach music production and synthesis at Icon Collective College of Music in Burbank. Cool. I didn't know that. At Icon, I've written curriculum for courses focusing on Ableton, recording, mixing, and synthesis for their newly launched vocal artist program. This upcoming year, I will be hosting Icon's first weekly game audio office hour. It will be a chance for students to explore the world of game audio through analysis, redesigns, and implementation. Outside of my work, my pastimes include weightlifting, tabletop games, cooking, and taking shots of Jaeger every time Kevin Reagan mentions Jonathan Bell's Portfolio on Real Talk. My name is spelt wrong, man, but it's fine. This is the way it's always spelt wrong, so you're not alone. There's an E right there, but after the M, M-E-Y. But I appreciate the joke. Believe it or not, this is how my name was spelt in like half of my school yearbooks. I'm not even kidding. So I'm, when I say don't worry about it, like I'm serious. It happens. It's like a good coin flip whether my name's spelled right or not. Main skills: sound design, synthesis, music production, Pro Tools, Ableton, and Reaper. Yep. Secondary skills: public speaking. There's proof. There's proof.
Those of us in the music industry, we have really big dreams. You're here because you want to further your career, you want to meet new people, and you want to learn new things. Are you guys all ready to start the show?
I believe you. What charisma. Nice one, Roman. Scripting basics, Godot, video editing, dungeon mastering. That's cute. And game design. Love that Godot. Okay, so I legitimately have a hearing condition called hyperacusis, an increased sensitivity to radio sound. Wow, I did not know that. Interesting. Okay, my favorite games include Dead Space 1 and 2, Half-Life 2, Outer Wilds. Currently playing Control, Inscription. Yeah, I saw you tweet about Inscription, right? I gotta play this. Joey, if you're still in the chat, Joey was going off on Inscription, how good it is. It's from Daniel Mullins here in Vancouver. I think he's still here in Vancouver. I don't know if he's moved. He was for some time. But apparently it's fantastic, so I gotta check it out. Probably over the break, I'll give it a go. Games I'm going to dive into now that I've prepared my portfolio for Real Talk. I love these like Real Talk updates. They're so funny. Halo Infinite and Death's Door. I gotta play Death's Door also. Yeah, I gotta catch up on some stuff. I just played Unpacking. Could recommend that one. That's like the last game I played. The last new game I played. Otherwise, just Splunky 2 for days. That's all I do. Okay, cool. Very nice. So I assume this is just here for Real Talk. Otherwise, I wouldn't put it in there. But this one here, Warlock, I think you can let that go. This is already a risk, Roman, as far as going kind of jokey. But it's like this italicized preamble, you know? I think this is like passable because the About Me on red encourages me to jump down to the text on red, which is the About Me. And this is all of this is very professional, except for the audio Warlock thing. And I think that's probably worth, I don't know, give some thought. I just think jokes, this is dangerous. You know, it's a risk. Just recognize it's a risk that the joke might not land, and that there's always plenty of time to be more casual and jokey and stuff after you've already established a relationship. But until then, proving that you can be professional and get the work done is kind of all that matters. No one's hiring you for like your ability to make jokes. They are hiring you. It is a consideration as far as like culture fit and I mean, that can be if you're working with one person freelance, there's still like a culture fit of sorts. It's do you like working with a person? But it's not the first and foremost thing. It is, can they get the work done? And then the kicker is like, do I like them? Like, are we going to get along? So I would push the professionalism rather, first and foremost. But this is a good little window into your sense of humor and stuff, so I don't mind it. Music, we already heard some of that. Midnight Crawler, Bantamwith. Cool. I will return to this momentarily. Other works, here's some. Yep, cool. Portfolio. The Sunken Place. Game Jam stuff, cool. And Ghost Song, Old Moon Games. Upcoming, Metroidvania by Old Moon Games. Design some NPC sounds, some animal sounds, everyone voice, create some different enemy stuff. That is the thing I'm probably worst at in sound design is creature noises. It's tough. It's hard. Dice of Destiny. Okay, cool. And more jam stuff. Great. All right, let's go to the main page here. Reels. Reels with an S. It's lies. It's real. Presley agrees. Creatures are just difficult. Yeah, they're just, yeah. One of Sucker Punch's qualifications is passable sense of humor. Yeah, sure, but it's still secondary. They're not going to hire you because you're funny and be like, well, I hope they can sound design. Like, it's like if you can bake a mean apple pie and that's your skill set, but you're funny, like they're not gonna hire you. Of course not. Like you need to be able to be reliable and get the work done. Let's watch a thing, shall we? 109, 10X, Under the Wire. Let's have a look. Okay. Chris, just be funny and use Boom Library. Yeah. Sure. There you go. Thanks, Roman. Coming along, man, for sure. Hey, Justin. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Let's... I like this intro a lot. What is this? Pretty sick. I'll say though, I think you have a lot more room for creativity here. Like to inject something truly unique into this. But right now it sounds like this. You know? Just like one key and a knob turn. Or like a pitch wheel or something. it's not much. I mean, this is so interesting visually. If I mute this and we gave it to this chat room right now, we gave it to the chat as a redesign challenge, like we'd get such a wide variety of stuff, you know? Yeah. The movement's nice after you get into the... Yeah, I like the finish. Just the intro, I feel like this has a lot more space for saying what this is, you know? You know? I love the look, though. Super cool. Is this just for you? I mean, it seems like it is. Unless you somehow, like, used it and then just fitted it into your work or something. I don't know. Please, I'd like to know. Give me some background on this thing. It's pretty unique. Let's talk some presentation, shall we? There it is, down here. You got it. We kind of already are. This intro is pretty sick. And then we have 8 seconds in. We're starting 8 seconds. I don't mind. We often say 2 seconds is a good number to aim for on your intro, but we see the occasional kind of like fake out title where it's like starting with a shot, like starting with a redesign, and then like bam, we get the name like 12 seconds in or something, or 6 seconds in. It's cool. The point being of the 2 second intro, I mean, why we say that is because a lot of intros are like the name and what this is, and let's go. So in those cases, 2 seconds is plenty. But if you want to kind of think outside the box and go off the beaten path with your intro, then awesome. This is a great example of that. I mean, no one's mad they're watching this. The point of the intro and of your first 10 seconds is to make people want to hear more and keep watching. So this says I'm serious in a big way. So I mean, of course I'm going to keep watching this thing, of course. Let's keep going. Presentation. Really nice text coming in, little details. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Roman, you have an obvious eye for details, and that's really nice to see from like a variety of standpoints, you know. So that'll serve you well I'm gonna go sidechain again. Sidechain. We have the Zvi Sherman classic here. Half, right? Down halfway. Stick around. Oh, it's so good. Man, so good. It remains good. Moving on. Same intro, very nice. Valve redesign. So the one thing though is that more typical, this is a bit atypical to have the developer down here. This is basically always what you did. I think this may be the first time I've ever seen this pair of things like heading and subheading, or sub-content, whatever you call that, and with the game dev in the second line. That's really unusual. Way more typical is control here, hyphen, or double slash or whatever into the developer, and then here, and then like just redesign. And can't hurt to say sound redesign. Just go for it. It's just make it very, very obvious what it is you did. We all know it's a sound design reel, but still. And then same thing here. Just say Valve. It's good to say the developer, of course, a courtesy, absolutely, but it's not the end of the world. Just it's kind of weird. Okay, because yeah, I'll say on the third one, I hadn't acknowledged that the developer was like in the second line, and then on this clip in particular, I was like 10 chambers redesign. Just for a second, I was like, oh wait, no, okay, it's fine. So it can just lead to the briefest moment of confusion that just doesn't need to be there, Yeah. Okay, and finishing out, we got what? Cool. The fade was a little weird at the end. We have this kind of quick drop off, but visually everything snaps off. And then we have because the reverb has like a pre-delay on it. It was like vroom and afterwards, and then the fade begins like during the onset of the reverb, so it's like this up and weird down. So it's kind of a strange, like this is way nitpicky, way nuanced, but you hear that though, Roman? Like it's, then it's like, oh no, we're done. So yeah, I think there's a more measured fade maybe is worthwhile there. I definitely was like, oh, okay, it's done. It wasn't clear from the audio alone that it was finishing out. So let's see here. Yeah, exactly, Joey. Redesigning all 10 chambers. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, okay, we're designing some chambers here. Got it. I understand. I mean, yeah, Roman, we're nitpicking because everything else is so solid, right? So you got to find something to look at. Okay, let's go look at some material selection. So notably, this is all redesign work. Yes? It says sound design reel. Oftentimes we sound redesign reel if it's like all redesigns. But what have you done here though? You have other things. Gameplay video of the sunken place. Jesus. A little loud. Okay. All right. All the art too. What's up? And programming. Oh, dude. Rip. Rip the guy. These tunes make this game seem way more intense than it is muted. Look at this. It's good. It's a good thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, you've got all these chops outside of those redesigns. Because the risk here, Roman, is that your reel fades into the background of all the other redesign reels that companies will get, And you're going AAA, obviously. So, yeah, it's a little bit... This is relying heavily on the hope that people like your work enough to dig in deeper, And they might. It's possible. But there may be something to be said for including like your programming ability and, you know, your implementation knowledge, like various things that are not just it's the sound design on a linear timeline, because tons of people do the sound redesign on a linear timeline and like call it a day, and that's all they have to offer, right? And the thing is, that can get you hired in plenty of places. That's not like that's not enough, but having more is just pluses, right? It just adds more chances that you'll be the one who's chosen for the position. And with the reel, I'm a big proponent of thinking of your reel as this is the one thing that people are going to watch of my work. And they may have another 150, 200, 500 reels to get through. So if they can just do this only, it may be they just don't have time to dig deeper, and they're making a judgment call from your reel alone. It's possible. So in those cases, when you have, I mean, even though, yeah, sure, this piece is mostly music, so it's like, I don't know if it fits very well. But the thing is, I don't know. It's like when you're showing off that you have done implementation of any kind on your own amid your own project. Like, not everyone does that, you know? There you go. Oh, look at that. 68 out of almost 4,000. Let's go. Let's go. Breakdown here. Ghost song. So I assume you can't show this yet because it's not available. Ghostsonggame.com. I think I've seen this somewhere, somehow. No, it's all GIFs. Give me the sound. Is there a trailer? There is not a trailer. It's only screenshots. Man. Brutes. Release date this year. We're low on time. Low. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, fair. Yeah, it's so tough. I know the challenge here, because you've got these redesign pieces that are, you know, very high fidelity, and then you throw something like the sunken place after it, and it looks kind of silly, right? Like it doesn't seem like it matches. But I mean, with game jam stuff, it shows that you're in the community. Like, even if you work alone on a project, you're still aware that this is a thing, and you involved yourself. And no one told you to do that. You just wanted to do it, right? So that's a big plus. And if people look at your projects page, your portfolio. Oh, by the way, it says projects and it says portfolio. Might be worth, well, I guess, yeah. Well, game jams is separate from projects. I don't know. We're back in the presentation stuff here. It's fine, probably. I think having this just like peppered at the end of your reel wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Even with the music. Because the thing is, it's very obvious you're doing the sound design thing. I don't know. I can go either way. I just think that with a minute, the challenge you're facing is like, how do I show all of my skills in this minute? And it may be that this isn't the best fit for it, even though it shows these skills, and that perhaps there is something else to do there, like another, you know, some other more sound design focused work, as opposed to this being pretty music heavy, it seems, at least on the surface. I want to watch this really briefly. Let's see. We got time.
Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about my entry into the Ludum Dare Game Jam number 48. The theme for the jam
Said it right.
Was Deeper and Deeper, and my entry was a game called The Sunken Place, inspired by the movie Get Out, mainly that hypnosis scene in that movie. Since I was doing the compo, I had 48 hours to finish this project. So in order to stay on track, what I did, I had two very clear goals. Goal number one was to just finish the game. And when I say finish the game, I wanted a start and end screen. I wanted some simple gameplay. And I wanted some quality of life things like a mute button, and also a little bit of polish, like having the music persist through different scenes in the game. It was very straightforward, very simple, but I just wanted to get it done, right? It was more important for me to have it be finished than have it be good and have it be perfect. Goal number two was to do something interesting with Godot's audio system, mainly mapping a filter to the player's location in the world, so that I can have a bit of a reactive music and sound effects system to help tell the story of the game a little bit more and make things more intense for the player. Let's dive into the audio system of my game. Since I wanted my background music to persist through different scenes, and also have that mute button state persist through different scenes, I load the audio controller first in the auto load function, making sure that it sits on top of all the other scenes in the game and persists through all those scenes. In the script for the audio controller, I am loading the music with these variables here, and then I have these functions to play the main game theme and then play the main menu theme down here. With the game theme, I wanted to make sure that my low pass filter gets turned on with this function. And then I also have some if-then statements as well, just to control for any other situations where the main menu music theme may or may not be playing, just to make sure everything goes smoothly. Then I have a very similar function down here for playing the main menu music theme. Moving over to this low pass filter effect, let's take a look at the game itself. So as the player jumps through these different platforming challenges, all the way to the top to...
Can you imagine how bad this video would be if all of the spoken dialogue thus far was written in text on the screen? Ugh, unwatchable. This is great, Roman.
To get out of the sunken place, I have mapped the low pass filter frequency to the player's Y position in the world. Let's take a look at that function in the main script here. This function, filter music, is going to filter the music and the sound effects according to the player's position. The first thing, I had a lot of challenge with this function. It took me longer than anything else in the game, and I definitely had to ask for a little bit of help on Godot's Discord server. My biggest challenge is that frequency values are usually treated logarithmically.
That's cool. It's like just peppering in that you're like on the Godot Discord server. Again, just an indication that you're serious and involved in the community. It's great.
Like if I pop over to Ableton Live here, we can see that I've got this frequency cutoff knob on this EQ. It goes from 22 kilohertz down to 10 hertz, and the midpoint is somewhere around 500 hertz or so. But that's not the actual middle value if we just treat it as raw numbers. The middle value is somewhere around here, around 11,000 hertz or so. But to our perception, there really isn't that much difference between 11,000 and 22,000, just a little bit of air. So what I had to do was convert these frequency values down here into logarithmic values. So what I have to do in this function is get a number that is going to allow me to map the player's location to those logarithmic values, and then convert the player's current location into a target frequency that my filter can use, converting it back into a regular number and not a logarithmic number. Also in this function, I am calling the filter down here. I am printing the target frequency for debugging purposes. And then finally, I am telling the cutoff frequency of the filter to be set to that new target frequency that is mapped to the player's location in the world. I was extremely proud of the work that I did on this project. I placed 62nd out of 3,500 entries, and I knocked a big item off my bucket list, which was to enter and complete a game jam. Doing most of the work on my own, like I said, I did have a little bit of help when it came to the math behind that filter frequency cutoff function. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you learned a thing or two about the way Godot's audio system works and how you can work around the issue of this logarithmic filter problem.
Yeah, what the heck? Main skills, sound design. Okay, it was here. Scripting basics. Godot, of course it was. Godot. Very nice, Roman. Good work. Cool, we have time to watch it today due to that cancellation. Very nice. So we have some game audio royalty in the chat. I'm sure Damien would not be agree with that right now. I haven't seen in a long time, is all. Lost Chocolate Lab, good to see you in the chat. Welcome on in. So right, we're all right, fair enough, Joey. This is tough, Roman, because like this is, I don't know whether you can throw that into your current reel being a sound design reel. I mean, it's like a show reel, I guess. You can like throw it at the end, like, by the way, also this, pretty proud of it. Did music sound design and the whole thing myself, personal project. Yeah, it's like whenever you don't force the thing in front of people, you risk it not being seen. That's kind of my position, right? It may or may not be true, but I think it's probably at least possible, right? That if you throw this reel in front of some developer, or they might watch your reel and be like, okay, that's all redesigns, put it in the maybe pile, move on. But if they knew that you have all this personal drive and ambition, and you've executed upon that drive and ambition to learn things and make your own projects, like that's not a small thing, you know? So I feel that it may be worth exploring some way of just, you know, pushing this into the mix somewhere and saying, hey, by the way, also this thing. It's like, call it a show reel. I don't know. It's, I mean, the whole, like, don't include music and sound in the same reel. That rule, like all these rules that we've always mentioned on Real Talk, like basically all of them can be broken if it's for a reason. It's kind of like writing music. Like you're a composer, so you know there's like all these rules in music theory and such that exist. Yes, you know, like don't move parallel fifths when writing chorale music and strings or choir or whatever. Like they exist. Yes, if you know all the rules exist, then you are free to break them because you know you're breaking them, and if you are breaking them, you're probably doing it for a reason rather than just like not realizing you might be writing your music in a suboptimal way technically. So with this, if you know you're breaking the rules, but it has like all these pluses, like, by the way, also look at this shit, it's amazing, then maybe that's worthwhile, you know? Maybe. I don't know. Back to the reel. Yo, Lost Chocolate Lab. You see this intro? It's pretty fun. Pretty sick. Let's talk about some content stuff. I'm going to scroll up a lot because Chris had some comments here. I feel like you could touch up a little more with this control piece. It might just be the stream, but I'm not really hearing the physics objects as they clatter around. Your synthesized effects feel a little too out of place in the game world as opposed to the gunshots and such, so I would work on a pass to make those feel more in the space. Maybe some Doppler going on the objects as you pull/push them away from you with that trim that rises/falls with the speed. The rock debris when you pull up a shield from the ground is a little too small. Also, the filter you put on the sounds after that's a bit too hard. Try to soften up the curve a bit. Sure to all that. Let's keep watching. I have a few additional notes too. So one thing that Remedy did really well with Control, I played so much Control, big into this project. One thing they did really well, and actually I talked to Cole on our team like this morning about this. We had a big conversation about kind of how we can use this in Tunic as we're working towards the finish line here. One thing they do well is they do a good job of having sounds, the various sound effects or sound events in the game, we'll call them, kind of say their piece and then get out of the way. And with this redesign, and the project is great for that, the redesign it falters a bit here and there where there's room to clean things up, and not just to make it sound better, but to better communicate what's happening in the game to the player. And things that Chris mentioned, like that certainly measures into it. Things like, you know, physics debris, clattering, and so forth. That certainly helps to know kind of what's around you and like for like world building reasons and that kind of thing too. But so towards the end here, for instance, so there's kind of two things to consider here. There's things like there's dynamics and there's tail. I guess there's like frequency content too. It's when we're talking about kind of having things say their piece and get out of the way, or stay out of the way, just like kind of, you know, choose their corner and stay in it kind of thing. We're talking about things like how long the sound lasts, because it could be shorter to like allow space for things to follow, to come in and fill that same space. We're talking about loudness over time, and sometimes you have a whoosh where it's like, or perhaps you should go, you know, and it's the same length, but you have the moment of the movement is kind of like the main event, and that's what's sticking out to communicate to the player that there's something moved, right? The third thing, as I mentioned, is frequency focus and frequency content. So if you have some big broadband like reverb or impact or explosion or whatever, then it probably lacks contour, because if we have, say, 5 events happen, 5 audio events happen in the scene back to back to back to back, you've got, if they all have broadband frequency content, then nothing's standing out, right? They're all kind of like occupying the same space. And rather than having, you have a full canvas to work with, and you can like put things around the canvas to see all of them in their own glory. Whereas like putting all the colors on top of each other, that's when we run into like masking. You end up obscuring things with other things, right? So, and not just obscuring, but they just get washy and they lose contour. So with this finish here, around here was when it got a little more noticeable for me, is you've got like this. So the throw happens. We got some verb on that. And there's like a hit here. Meanwhile, the scream's happening. And then we have the pull of the rocks. And the explosion there too. And in Control, it's like, man, you've got, I'm gonna mute this for a second and just play it in slow motion perhaps. It's like, no. We got like 0.25, nice and slow. So we have this pull really quick, and then gone, and then hits the enemy, and then pulls up out of the way, out of the way. We got scream there, up high, what you're doing is good. It has a place for it. Gone. Like everything is really snappy, you know? And it kind of has to be. Like it makes sense to be snappy. It's not just like a creative choice. It makes sense because the combat is so fast paced. Arcspace, thanks for the nice words on Celeste. It's similar. I mean, Celeste is fast paced too. There's a lot of, I mean, speed and movement is what Celeste is all about. So we made similar choices there to kind of have things say their piece and then get out of the way. So with this, you probably have room to, we'll talk about tail first with things like the, oh, nice. These are the audio. Yeah, sweet. Not quite. Normal. Here we go. So the throw, it goes on pretty long. Like the length is probably okay, but maybe you could just drop off volume a bit more, like the dynamic wise, drop off earlier so that we have the sound is near you. When it's across the room, it's not as important anymore. If it hits something, it's important, but that hit will be marked by the sound of the hit, right? It's not the sound of the thing flying at that point. So right here, pull in. Even the finish there, you have room on that tail even to kind of pull it in. I think even the game does that too. It's like, and you have it now. So this explosion here, there's two things happening here. One is we're pulling rocks from the ground, right? We just grab something. We don't really hear that so much, right? And the thing is, you may have missed that in the redesign. I can't hear, I'm not sure it's there. You may have missed that because the verb, the explosion here, and the verb on it and so forth is just sort of room filling. So it's easy to miss in a redesign because it's like, oh, there's sound throughout, therefore it's done. It's a very, very easy kind of thought to have. I mean, we all do that when we're doing linear content, right? And then we realize like, oh, there's totally room to kind of massage further and add some more things. So with this explosion is fine. This one here though, this blast, if I close my eyes in the second blast, right about here. Yeah, so let's close our eyes, people. 3, 2, 1, and. So with that one, the reason it's mostly tail is like, there's not much, the dynamics on it are really, really weak, honestly. It's like, it just starts with a small transient that isn't very much of one at all. It's like, duh, kind of thing. Duh. And then it goes up a bit and comes down again, but it's quite long. And it seems like it's mostly reverb. Yeah, Roman, I see in the chat there. It could probably dial back the reverb a bit too. Yeah, it's, again, dangerous, right? It's really easy for, I mean, we've all done this. You find a nice reverb setting and you're like, oh, that sounds great for the room. And you're like, poof, crank it up. So spicy, so saucy. You know, I want to bathe in it. And then you realize that it's like obscuring all the hard work you've done. So yeah, it's really important to kind of pick and choose when you're pushing the reverb so hard too, for sure. Like when the story is about the space, you know, when you have a big ass room and you want to say, hey, we're in a massive auditorium, massive, you know, cathedral foyer or something with vaulted ceilings, it's all stonework, then yeah, like crank the verb because the story is about the size of that room in that moment, right? But in cases like this, the player's attention is not on the space, it's on the action happening within the space. So having some verb to help support the story is good, but it's not the main event, right? With this explosion, so there's room to, dynamic-wise, come way up and then come down some more. The direct sound compared to the room sound is like almost non-existent. If you close your eyes and listen again, like this explosion sounds like it came from somewhere over there, like in the distance across the room. Great insights. Got a meeting for a bit. Took it back. Cheers. Hey, always good to see you, man. It's been a little while. It's been too long. Appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, pull back on reverb, push dynamics. We have more direct sound, right? Direct sound versus the background. The explosion's kind of stereo and like blurry, washy. And when I say blurry and washy, it means it's not clear to me like where this thing is and what it is and what it's comprised of. So we have things like panorama. We have things like direct sound versus the reverb sound, the room sound. That's like in terms of dimension, right? We're talking about dimension in that case. We have, panorama being like where it is in the space, if it's right in front of us versus like kind of wide and wherever. We have frequency content where you'll have, you know, we often have things like explosions are far away, sound more beefy because like the low frequencies have higher energy and get to you, whereas the high ones don't. So this being quite a low frequency focus explosion, that's also contributing to the idea that like, oh, it sounds like it was over there somewhere. If it was like real big, then that would probably help sell like, oh, it's actually quite nearby actually. Yeah, here it's a lot of, yeah, not much happening, unfortunately. I think the explosion in game is like, or like kind of like that, if I can recall correctly. Yeah, it's quite high actually. All the explosions in Control are like really snappy. It's kind of surprised me at first, but they feel really good in game. Again, because it supports the gameplay, right? It's so moment to moment. So, okay, let's come back here. So, these two explosions are... Yeah, the reverb is like quite tonal as well. It's like dum dum. You hear that? It's like dum dum. And because you have two back to back, they do both. They are the same thing. They're both like exploding enemies, right? So yes, we want to have a similar kind of feel to them, but because the direct sound's missing, we have mostly reverb, and then they sound kind of the same. It's like samey, and they wash into each other as well, which is it's not what you want as far as the gameplay support is concerned. So, and the rocks here. So we didn't hear the rocks coming up. We also, like Chris mentioned, I think, we don't really hear the rocks falling either. Like they're kind of there, but man, listen to that rock fall, Roman. Close your eyes. What are you telling us happened there with that rock fall? You know? It's like I had a little handful of shale and was like, ha. Like there's so much weight here. The idea that we're like ripping these chunks of concrete out of the ground to throw away. We definitely have more space for some weight there. For not just weight, but like the sink too. It's loose. It's kind of like on the right channel, but we can see some of it in front of us, right? Like these ones are falling in front of us. So panorama wise and frequency, again, frequency focus, we got room for beef there, some more weight. The idea here, again, this is not just about like trying to be accurate to what's happening in this scene. It's about the gameplay. We're trying to sell the story of what's happening here. And the idea is we tore concrete out of the ground and we're going to use it as a weapon. It wouldn't be nearly as effective if we had like tiny pieces of shale, right? So if we demonstrate, if we communicate that weight, it just helps to support the idea like, yep, this is going to like mess up some enemy if I throw this away, you know? Let's make it sound dangerous. Okay, so we got nice little UI there. Cute. Into it. Very nice. Cool. Zoom, zoom into it. This is all, I mean, this is all like, I have not even mentioned the fact that Control sounds amazing and doing a redesign is so bold. Like we always say that like if you're choosing a redesign, choose something that is not, you know, internationally celebrated for its audio work. I think Control won for best audio in like 2019, was it? Or was it 2020? Control, best audio. It was GDCAs or maybe Game Awards. Wins big at, yeah, 2020, it won best audio. There you go. So, it's one of those games you sound mad. Yeah, so exactly, Joey's saying it gets mad listening to it. It's one of those things where like you listen to it and how you feel depends entirely upon how you were, like your mental state going into it. If you're feeling good, you're like, oh man, so inspiring. If you're feeling bad, it's like, I will never be this good. It is a very, very, very good sounding game. It's crazy. And the pull is unlike anything else in any game as far as how it operates and how it sounds. Like it's just so hard to try and replicate and to do something that A, sounds original and B, sounds good. Because they did so much iteration on that thing to make sure it sounds exactly how it should. So if anyone's played Control, like myself, I hear this telekinesis effect, right? And my first thought, even involuntarily, is it's not as good as the original. You know, I can't escape it. So it's not because you've done a bad job. It is because they have a large team of, you know, they have a large funded team, and they're able to sculpt until it's where it needs to be. Yeah. Yeah. Macroburla. Absolutely. You must play that game. Control is fantastic. Very, very good. Okay. Oh, you didn't learn that it was award-winning until you were in K. That's fair. Still. I think the Control does a pretty good job of communicating like the thing you threw as well when it hits stuff. So we have, what it is? It's like a... Is it a box or a cabinet? I can't really tell what it is. Yeah, but a little more love on the impact to try and communicate what the thing was that hit might be beneficial too. Okay, moving on. Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, this vocal I wasn't mega into when I heard it. You know, it sounds like a guy kind of thing. There's probably more room to make it a little more monstrous and less just like a man, you know. No, don't be afraid to get weird on the mic. Weirder yet. I'd say in this scene you've done a better job of like the moment to moment stuff. There's less going on, mind you, but still, we have this explosion, and you could have easily made this explosion huge and like keep going and have a massive reverb, but you didn't, and we have room for this next thing to happen, right? Yeah, we heard all of that. It was the thing is our attention was fully focused on it too as a result. It's like it's commanding your attention. I love that. I've seen this redesigned a few times now. This here, I saw it one time and they did like a little squeak. They moved like and it was excellent. And I missed it here because it wasn't. It's not your fault, but still, it's like there's probably room to have a little more love on that moment. Because the thing is, there's so much happening here. So, like as a sound designer, when you can like inject more story into things, more personality, you probably should do it. And in the case of this, in your demo reel, like this isn't really an exciting moment. Like there he goes, and it's a little Foley push, right? So in here at all, it may be worthwhile to put a little more into like the specificity of what's happening there. Otherwise, cool. That's nice. It's all pretty measured, but what's there sounds good. I guess we didn't even mention this like transition, did we? This so this is a transition in After Effects, I assume. You mentioned After Effects earlier. What was it here? So yeah, this transition surprised me because there's no transition here, Roman. There isn't even a crossfade. We just hear dong. And then over here we have this crazy like involved transition. Crazy. What happened? I felt a bit like this was a little cheesy. The transition. A little bit. I don't know. It's a taste thing, I guess. But I think that your site and the titling and stuff is all really sleek and clean. Where I feel like just crossfades are going to be nice, or like well chosen moments of crossfade. You know, where one clip matches the next would be wonderful. This, I don't know. Maybe some folks in the chat love it. I don't know. Okay, how about this? If you think this transition's bomb and it must stay, press 1 in the chat, please. If you think it's cheesy and doesn't fit the rest of the site and reel, press 2. There you go. I'll start off. There's my 2. Maybe I'm wrong. Yan 2 sound, first time chatter, rolling in with the 2. There you go. Felt so strongly about this, Roman. They had to roll in and give that opinion. Thanks a lot. Good to see you. Welcome on in. Oh, Natasha, what's up? I saw your message. Sorry, I was in the middle of a rant. Whoops, missed most of this one, but thought I'd still come by to say hi, assuming this is the last one before Christmas. It is. Yeah, this is the last one of this year, so we'll be back on like the 6th or whatever the heck it is. Yeah. Okay. Design-wise in this section, so let's talk about that a little bit. Yeah, I think your creature design here is more convincing than the head crab. So one thing here, though, is this you playing? I'm curious, or is it a clip you've pulled from somewhere else? Because I have an observation to make. It's you playing. Okay, so I have a question. How did you know to turn to your left right here? It seems like you knew it was there, right? You turned right towards it. Boom, there it is. So I suspect you may have heard something to your left. That's my suspicion. Who knows? Who knows? I'm good. All right, well done. It was getting hit. Oh, okay. What are you getting hit by? Where's the... Okay, all right, well. Fair enough. So I thought that right here would be a good opportunity for like something panorama-wise to say, oh, grab your attention. But it kind of begins as you're turning, you know? And you do have some shots off screen to the right there. So you're kind of fully, you're further informing. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I withdraw my accusation then. Yeah, I'm like a big gun guy, so actually I'm not a big gun guy, so it's hard for me to like weigh on your gun design, but so I will not weigh on your gun design. But I think the only thing I will say of your gun stuff is that there's maybe more room for like, the smallest of stories being told over the course of the gunfire. So we have like this shot, for instance. You know, the shot is very on and off, as opposed to like the kind of, you know, multi-stage, couple syllables on the gunshot, as opposed to the single syllable. That's one thing that's like Sean Laval always says, single syllable, and Alex Barnhart. Yeah, they're always in the chat being like single syllable gunfire. So yeah, a little more like hearing the trigger, hearing the mechanisms, hearing the into the shot, the body of it, the tail. Have like a little, the smallest of stories is what I mean there. So just have the full kind of movement over the course of the gunshot, as opposed to just on-off. That's definitely pretty on-off. Yep, cool though. Okay, so anything else to glance at? I want to glance at portfolio a little bit more here. So gameplay video, we got the breakdown, watch that. We got game jam stuff. Watch gameplay, let's go. A little more of that. Oh, fun. It's flying past the finish point. Okay, I'm now tired of it. I liked it at first. The text sound is kind of cool. I think it'd probably come down. The clacking, especially, is a little bit serious. But again, game jam stuff, I'm not too concerned. Folks don't judge game jams very, very harshly. Yeah, to have it that frequently in the game, if it was like a single intro title for an area or something, then awesome. But as an ongoing text sound, it's a little bit bold to have that just forever. It must be a loop that's like playing and ending, just like playing the full loop each time or something, right? Because it's going like beyond the text each time. I don't know. Hard to say. Text for days. With this video, Roman, I might suggest that... Okay, so here's the thing. When you're watching a gameplay video for a game jam game or for any game, oftentimes you want to be seeing what the game is all about, what the flow is like, if you might be interested in playing this game yourself, that kind of thing, right? But for your site, in this case, we're not watching it for that reason specifically. It might be a nice bonus side effect, but we're watching it mainly to see what you brought to the table, right? Like here's a gist of what I did. So here's like, oh, you did the motion sensor. So perhaps you didn't even do the you didn't do the text, perhaps, if I can see here. But in terms of the gameplay video, I think something shorter, like 3 minutes of it, when it's mostly text for the first kind of minute and a half, is a little bit bold. I mean, maybe you should. It's just unfocused, right? Like this video here did a great job of keeping us marching forwards and explaining your thought process and trimming the fat, right? I'm sure that as a public speaker, you are well familiar with the concept of like, you know, boiling down your ideas and stuff, right? So well done. With this one, I think you'd apply the same concept. Just pull back on anywhere where you're like showing the same thing and we're not learning anything new. Think of like what does every passing second look like on this site for someone who's browsing in to like learn about you. And in this case, these seconds, I would argue, are heavily wasted because we're learning nothing new. And if you didn't even design this sound, then we're learning even less. And if the person doesn't like this sound, it risks reflecting poorly on you, right? So yeah, so like a highlight reel of your work on that project would probably be a good call. If you don't want to have it in your main reel, then for sure, just do a little video here as far as being like, hey, here are the things I did. Check it out. Like I'm way more interested to hear how your work comes across in game based on the choices you made, as opposed to like learning about the game entirely, you know? Yeah, so room there. Let's look at Dice of Destiny. Let's go. 6 minutes. Like that's a big ask for someone who just wants to have a glance at this thing, right? And no sound to start. Okay. Sass knows Roman. There you go. Welcome. Wonderful.
Ooh, this is gonna be good. Ooh. Ooh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, Roman. Very nice.
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
These goblins are all the same. So we got a lich. Okay. More liches. Yeah. So do you see what I'm doing here? I'm clicking through. The thing is, I'm not clicking through because it's on stream. I'm clicking through because I'm not learning anything new. Like I heard your goblin, I heard the dice sounds, I heard the button sounds, the drops, various interactions. I skip ahead, I hear a lich, but the rest of the sounds I've heard for the most part. And I go ahead and there's like more map, more lich, more etc., right? So don't worry if the video ends up being shorter, it's fine. Because it's really heavily packed with like new stuff every second, right? Bugbear, what's your deal? Okay, cool. All right. Wonderful. So I think I can probably wrap it up there. The The last thing being distinction. Are you standing out in some positive way, Roman? I mean, yeah. Just the only concern, not only concern, the main concern I have is that you've got skills that you're not displaying in your sound design reel, you know? As far as skills and just pluses in general. Things like I'm involved in the community. I'm doing things on my own. I'm self-driven to learn things. I have skills in scripting. I have skills in implementation, et cetera, et cetera. All those things, it may be worthwhile to do something that resembles like, you know, a classic Unity demo or Unreal demo or something like that. Some project where you can showcase your work that you did the implementation of, and you can put in the little subheading in the title, like, I did this. Because that'll look so good. It always looks better. I mean, you have, if you settle up your reel against somebody else's reel and you're the same level, and they simply display that they have these skill sets that you also have, you're just not saying, like, they might get the gig, right? And then it's not because you're worse. You might even be better. It's possible. But you just aren't, there's no communication of that fact happening here, right? So that's, I think, the biggest concern I have. But the work is like, for a junior position, is like, yeah, it's good. And there's like kind of various, there are varying choices being made here. You have some pretty kind of measured, slow stuff. You have the action. You have some more gun stuff here. I think that, yeah, just some more detail, some more consideration of, like you have in the Alex piece, like highlighting the important stuff over time and making room for those important things as they come by designing other things to accommodate for them to show up is going to be a good kind of next step for you. Probably call it there. I won't lie, it was kind of nice not having to rush through 2 reels. It's a hard balance to strike to know whether to do do more reels in one show and like help more people kinda, but like help them less each, give less feedback, that kind of thing. Hard to say what the move is, but I hope everyone didn't mind the deep dive into Roman's work. It was a good time. I was actually looking forward to seeing your work, Roman. I'm glad you submitted. Very fun. Cloud Jumper, welcome. All these first-time folks running for the last stream of the year. Very nice. Let me just double-check what the next year looks like while I play some more Green Garden. Oh my goodness, here it comes. Wonderful. Let's see here. Schedule. Here we go. Real talk. Okay, we got January 7th. That was close. Close. Oh wait, that was last year. Calm down, Kevin. I was right, the 6th. I was like with Esmond. Didn't we look at Esmond before? We did. It was last year. Joey, this song is Green Garden from Bomberman 64. Of course. Of course. There we go. Ah, Cloudfall before. Okay, well, no sweat. No sweat, no big. So nice. So yeah, we have a stream on the 6th with Denis Liudkevich, I don't know. .eu, hard to say, and Christian Kozlowski. It's like 2 Polish folks, maybe? I don't know, maybe. Who knows? But that'll be on the 6th, and if you do want to submit your own work to Real Talk, we're currently filling slots in March, so get them in. And last thing, if you're not aware, the Game Awards are today, and it's like Jeff Keighley, apparently the fellow who runs it, said that it's over half new game announcements, including like one extended 6-minute cut to show a new project. Probably Kojima. Who knows? But we have a little something in there as well, which I will not put any more details into, but we are looking forward to retweeting that when the news comes out. So Stay tuned. Big winks. Big winks. Okay, thanks a lot. I'm gonna crank these tunes. Crank them up. Oh man. So good. Okay, that's it. See ya. Thanks. Have a good holiday season. See you next year.